guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and today we're back with another reaction video, and I actually thought I was going to take a little bit of a break on these for a while, but then I remembered there was a Halloween one and I just could not resist. I just had to do this one for Halloween. So we're just gonna react to this. I have not watched this video yet, so it should be interesting. I should have some strong opinions on topics in this video. But the video we'll be reacting to today is Jessica Joy's video, Should Christians Celebrate Halloween? You can also let me know your thoughts about that and your opinions about that in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into today's reaction video. Because you guys like to see me suffer, and come on, what's Halloween without a little pain, hey? Trick or treat!
What's up, you guys? We need to talk about something. We need to talk about today, which is Halloween. And I want to answer the question, should Christians celebrate Halloween? Should we not? I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. I'm going to read some scripture to you guys and hopefully help you understand kind of where we should stand with this. So let's get right into it. As I was in prayer last night, I felt the Lord leading me to read Ephesians 5:8. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of the light, for the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. And find out what pleases the Lord. Have nothing to do with fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Galatians 5:15, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Now, the thing with Halloween, you guys, is that Halloween is actually promoting darkness, fear, and death, okay? It's telling us in Galatians, though, that we were once darkness, but now we are light in the Lord. And this message is more for the church, like people that are already saved, because we can't expect people that are not saved to understand this and be sensitive to the Spirit. I feel like the Lord really wants me to talk to believers right now. This is more so for the believers that are not being sensitive to the Spirit.
Okay, I don't see what anything she has said so far is even remotely related to Halloween. Halloween is not a holiday that promotes fear and death and all of those things. Halloween is actually a day to honor the people in your life, your loved ones, that passed on. Now, in the Christian church, they talk about the Holy Spirit. So they do acknowledge the existence of spirits. When someone dies, you have a funeral, you mourn their death. So Halloween is also one of those days. It's very similar to the Day of the Dead in, I believe, Spanish culture, where they honor the dead with the Day of the Dead, which is Dias de los Muertos. And they honor the dead by having this amazing festival and not being sad about the people you have lost, but honoring them and honoring that their spirits are actually in a better place existing somewhere else. So it's very similar, what the Christians say, you go to heaven when you die. It's very similar to that. So my beliefs on death is just that we get reincarnated, but just off topic. But I don't see how that's anything related to Halloween that she said so far, with the scripture she read. And Halloween is not promoting death, it's not promoting anything. Halloween is actually derived from a festival that marked the end of the year and the end of the harvest. And originally there was also a time where it was said that a demon came. He had the ability to rise other dead things, almost like zombies, other spirits and demons from the dead. And they would walk the earth, and a lot of people also believe Halloween is when the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. And people used to, back in the day it was a little bit gruesome because they used blood and animal heads and things to put on them so that they actually can protect themselves from the evil spirits. They carve the pumpkins to appease the spirits, put them outside, and a lot of cultures they actually have that ghost houses type stuff. They put things outside to appease the spirits so the spirits won't come into their homes, and they disguise themselves from these spirits so that the spirits would not take their souls as well.
feel conviction about celebrating, or maybe don't even feel conviction, I want you guys to just really like acknowledge what the Lord has to say about this, not what another Christian is doing, because remember, they can be Christians right now celebrating Halloween, and we think like, well, that pastor celebrates it, or my best friend celebrates it, or whatever celebrates it. We're not called to be like other Christians, we're called to be like Christ. So remember that throughout this entire video. We need to see what the Lord has to say about this. So I'm talking more so to Christians, but if you're not a Christian and you just want to know my point of view on it, then that's amazing as well. But yeah, so as believers, this is why I'm sharing this with you. It says, live as children of the light. So really ask yourself, on how...
Okay, just quick interruption again. She just assumes that Christian people are the only people who can walk a path of light. I'm a witch, I have no religion, and I walk a path of light. So, yeah, I can't take small-minded people. These videos are simply torture to me because of the narrow-minded views that these people have. They just think like frickin' sheep, and there's so many people who just buy into this bullshit.
On Halloween night, do you really think you should go out and be yoking yourself with people that are covered in like death, blood, are promoting satanic things? Like, I've seen people literally wear like the satanic star over their neck, literally dressing with horns, and you don't have to dress as any...
Just by the way, with the horns thing, like literally every herbivore, or not every herbivore, but the bigger majority of herbivores have horns to protect themselves from predators, like goats and deer, and they have horns and antlers and things to protect themselves, okay? So horns aren't naturally a demonic type thing, first off. And the blood, like I mentioned, was to protect. They used the blood of animals and stuff in the old days. They just cover their faces in blood to try and blend in with the spirits so that the spirits will basically not take them. They masked their souls with the blood of the dead animal, and then they would sense the blood of the dead animal and they will not take the humans. So that's really unrelated. And lately, everyone just dress up as a slutty something for Halloween. It's not even like satanically shit like she's spewing here. Everyone just wants to be a sexy something, a sexy bunny, a sexy nun, Harley Quinn, and none of that's really like evil or satanic. Most of the women just dress up as like a sexy something or spooky something or something from a horror film. Like, that's the majority of what I've experienced. And with my costumes, like, that I'm gonna wear this year is nothing, like, evil at all. And, you're just gonna have to wait for my vlog video to know what I'm dressing up as, because it's a really big surprise. But, yeah, this is just, too much.
anything really crazy. If you're just dressing up even as an angel or anything like that, you're still yoking yourself with that whole entire crowd. You're changing your identity. You know, like, the only thing that we are is children of God, and if we're dressing up as other things, we're taking up another persona. And
Okay, so my question here really quickly for her is, like, actors and things, they also take on personas that's not their own. When we read a book, we're taking on a persona that's not our own. Even Jesus used to tell stories of metaphors and things where he makes up a little story and people would take on that persona. It's not an uncommon thing to do that. And also was the story in the Bible where the angel of death came to take every firstborn son, and they used lamb's blood to cover the entries of the doorways so that they will be safe when the angel of death comes. So it's not an uncommon practice to use blood to protect yourself from the dead or to mask yourself with blood and stuff, especially on Halloween since the veil is thinnest, according to most people, and I, as a spiritual person, can definitely attest to that. Especially this Halloween, the spirits are very active. So, yeah, it's not uncommon to mask yourself, and it is actually very encouraged if you're at a party in Halloween. I mean, when you're dressed up as something else, your identity is kind of hidden. I mean, masquerade balls and things were also a very common thing. You can also go look at some of Shakespeare's work of Romeo and Juliet. There was these masquerade balls. They were very common throughout the older ages. And, masking up at a party seems like a safer idea for me, especially if there's a party where there's going to be a lot of strangers, so that no one really knows who you are if you dress up right, and it protects you at the end of the day. That's my opinion on it.
We are taking part in this holiday, I guess you can say. I don't know how this is even considered a holiday, but it is. Find out what pleases the Lord. So if you really think about it, do you think Jesus would celebrate Halloween? I am positive he would not. I feel like
Oh wait, I actually have mixed feelings, and I actually think he would. If there was like a modern day Jesus, I actually think he'd actually partake in it because it is technically a protection ritual in a whole. And another thing, like she said, she doesn't know how it's a holiday. Well, let's talk about holidays a little bit, okay? Let's just talk about holidays for a second. You know, Christmas is derived from an old pagan holiday called Yule, or the winter solstice, and it's not a Christian holiday. They robbed the pagans of that holiday. It's not a Christian holiday. Jesus was also not born in the winter time. He was born somewhere in the fall, and he was definitely not born in December. So that's all false. And then again, Easter. Easter was also taken from another religion. I mean, Christianity is relatively a new religion. Paganism predates Christianity with thousands of years, and so does Hinduism and Buddhism as well. So a lot of religions predates Christianity. But Easter, like I said, Easter comes from the holiday Ostra, which they actually give thanks to another deity, which is not related to Christ at all, and it was also said that that was not the true day of his rising. So again, that's fake. Also, I don't know why we attend mass and stuff on Sundays because according to the Bible, it should have been on a Saturday. So yeah, we have all of that lovely information, and even like Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is rooted in very, very dark histories. It was created by a man named Arthur Valentine, and you can read up a bit more about him. I don't want to get too in detail about that. And there was also a witchy holiday called Lupercalia, which you can go look up on, which is very more gruesome than the Valentine's Day we celebrate. None of the holidays that Christians actually celebrate are even their own holidays or are even remotely Christian in nature. I mean, the only nice holiday that doesn't derive or doesn't have anything to do with religion is Thanksgiving, in my opinion. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving where we're from. That's an American thing. But okay, let's continue with this madness, shall we?
that's where I'm kind of baffled as to why churches even are hosting these like Halloween parties in the church, and they just changed the name into like something else. They're still passing out candy, they still have people dressed up in costumes, and they still have like spooky little decorations and things going on like that, but they're like, no, no, no.
Wait a second. We actually, at my church when I was younger and still did the Christian shit, we actually had a haunted house at our church. It was not a Halloween festival, but yeah, it was a little festival every year around Halloween time, and we had like a spooky haunted house. They would also give the kids free candy. A lot of people like selling things, like there was like a little market. It was really fun, and they had like a bouncy house for the kids and everything, so it was really, really fun. The haunted house got scarier every year. I don't know if it was just me, but gosh, that one year that was just really scary. And most of the decorations they got was like it's cobwebs, fake spiders, a lot of black curtains that formed a maze, and then a skeleton. There was nothing other that our church had there. And giving out free candy is a really good thing. I mean, there's very little in life that's actually free because everything comes at a price. And I think giving kids free candy is like awesome. I actually saw a TikTok video recently where they say witches spray over the candy for the kids. And I saw just a lot of people duetting that because that's just total bullshit. And there's also people who believe witches are some kind of other entities. Like, hey, I mean, I'm a witch. Like, hey, I'm human. We do human crap. We don't pray over freaking candy for kids. I don't even give out candy because, like, we in South Africa, we don't really celebrate Halloween much here, anyways. But we do have Halloween parties and festivals and things. Um, But if I could, I would, like give out candy. And no, I would not pray or curse the candy. I mean, I really like kids, and I wouldn't like prey on them. I don't know what's it with people and witches and cannibalism and kids and shit. What the hell? But okay.
It's good because we're in the church and it's safe here, you know? I don't understand how going on in Galatians 5:11 tells us have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. And what I've seen the church say when they have these church events is, well, we can just host this party, and the people that come in, we can share the gospel with them. Pause. First of all, which non-believer really goes to a church and says, I'm gonna celebrate Halloween in the church? No. Okay, so that's already deceiving yourself. A lot of people are afraid of
Gosh, you think that's deceiving yourself, honey? I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut for a bit here.
missing out or something. And they're like, well, if we just do it in the church, we can be in the safety of the church and the enemy doesn't attack us here. It's like, no, you're bringing the satanic holiday in the church. You're not making it holy. You cannot make something that's dark.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Satanic Holiday. Uh, please show me the facts, please. Where are your facts? Give me the facts. If you can show me the facts that Halloween is a satanic holiday, where is that little pieces of shit you have to read now? Where's that now? Because there's no proof, because it wasn't a satanic holiday at all. It actually derived from paganism, and paganism is not satanic shit at all. And paganism is not Satanism at all. People get confused a lot between Wicca, witchcraft, Satanism, and paganism, and none of them are the same thing. Wicca is a religion, Satanism is sadly a religion, paganism is a religion. Witchcraft isn't a religion, it's a practice and can be done in all religions.
Darkness and promoting fear into something holy. If you really want to impact people and be a light to them and not let them be deceived, then we need to be in prayer and fasting. Instead, host these events where you're going to expose the enemy's agenda, okay? Because this is an actual real holiday where
Okay, well, I don't know who the hell your enemy is at, because no one's fighting you. Everyone's just trying to be good once a year, you know? This is actually what Halloween is. People are trying to be good once. Well, some people just want to dress up as slutty somethings, but we're giving out free candy. I mean, I've seen bad things happen, like people putting razor blades in apples and things and handing them out to kids, or putting razor blades in certain candies and giving it to kids, and that breaks my heart. I've seen that done to animals as well, and that's very gruesome and horrific, and I just hate it. But in general, giving out candy, what's the harm in it at all? I mean, it's kids. Let them have fun. Let them be young. Let them be innocent. They can choose their own paths for themselves.
Satanists, witches, and warlocks are getting together. They're doing rituals.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause here with the witches and warlocks thing, because there's a little bit of debate on it. Some people call the male witch a warlock, some people call it a wizard, some people just call them a witch. Now, there's a little bit debate about whether it is, but I think a witch is a witch, and whether you're a male or female, a witch is a witch. So you have a little misinformation there, sweetheart. And yeah, what's the other thing you said? So just, yeah.
Blood sacrifices. This is not like a joke. Like, this is literally happening. And not just on October 31st.
Okay, and yeah, witches don't do blood. I'm a witch. I don't do blood magic or blood sacrifices. I'm not against any witches who does perform blood magic, but blood magic and blood ritual shit, there's a main difference between the two, a very vast difference. And usually the main blood that witches do use are their own blood, and it's women tend to use their monthly blood as well. I mean, it does gross me out a little bit. It's just me, maybe, I don't know. But sometimes they do that, and it's for purposes as like rejuvenation or fertility. It's nothing to do with like cursing and stuff. I mean, you can do that technically, but don't condemn a person's belief. Condemn the person. You can't hold someone accountable based on their religion or their lack of religion can only hold a person reliable based on their own individual actions. Most Christians tend to piss me off, but I don't hate all of them. And most of my family are Christians, and some of them are really, really nice. Some of my friends are Christians, and I have nothing bad to say about them. I just hate when people spread false information. Because beware of false information, for it is more dangerous than ignorance.
This is the entire month of October, November, December, because satanic people, people that are in these occults, take it so seriously. And see, this is what's sad. Not even the church is taking it this seriously. They are so devoted to what their mission is and their agenda is to attack the church, attack the saved and the non-saved people, that they are planning this ahead for the year that's to come. But the church can't even get together and get in prayer and fasting and fight the spiritual warfare. Instead, we want to throw a party and host the same thing that they're doing, but say that it's a different name and you can dress up as something good. In Galatians 5:15, it says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise." Now, listen, if you've celebrated it and you're watching this right now and you're like, whoa, like, I never really thought about it like that, or I never really, like, whatever, it's okay. You can repent and you can just turn away from that, okay? It's normal. No.
Okay, you keep saying this thing about the wise. So you clearly did not gain knowledge or wisdom because you did not research the topics you're talking about. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But, maybe research a little bit more and cross-reference your research and don't take the first thing that pops up on Google because it's usually inaccurate.
No one's perfect. Not a lot of us ever were taught that this is not something we should do. So you don't have to feel like, well, it's too late now. Like, it's never too late. I'm 20 years old.
Okay. And another thing I hate is people pushing their beliefs and their religion down other people's throats. That is something that I will not stand for. I don't care what religion you are, I don't care what freaking ethnicity you are, I don't care what your sexual orientation are. If you're a good person, you're a good person, and I'll probably like you. If you're a bad person, you're just a bad person, I'm probably not gonna like you. I treat you and interact with you based on your own individual actions, not your beliefs. I mean, if you're gonna hurt someone, or if you're gonna hurt an animal or a plant even, I'm probably not gonna like you. But if you're nice to people and you say nice things to them, maybe, then I'll like you. What I don't like is people shoving their religions and beliefs down people's throats. I mean, I'm a witch, I'm a spiritual practitioner, I'm a psychic empath, and I don't care what people think about me. I don't care what people think about my beliefs. I do share the occasional stuff on my medias, and I have my YouTube channel and everything, but I don't shove my religion down people's throats. Why do you guys think I'm trying to make diverse content over here? I'm trying to make gaming content and all sorts of other interesting topics that's not related to witchcraft, because I know not everyone's into that, and I don't want to shove it down people's throats or reprimand them if they don't believe the same thing I do.
I went trick-or-treating basically like my entire youth until I got saved. I realized like this isn't right. The first year that I was saved, I still wasn't sensitive to spirit enough. I wasn't really like aware that these things were like not pleasing to the Lord. And I dressed up one of those nights. I went to this Halloween party and I just remember feeling in my spirit like something's not right here. Like the spirit of the Lord is not in this event. It's not in this day. Like I felt it so heavily that there was an attack against me.
Oh, okay, you know what? Maybe what she did feel though, because the veil is thinnest on the day of Halloween, and as well the day of Christmas, as you guys know it, but I know it as Yule or the winter solstice. But there is times, also on New Year's, there is very particular days throughout the year that the veil is thinner, and lots of these times there's actually holidays associated with them because people used to protect themselves against these entities. So I really want to make a lot more videos about religious type content to talk about the misinformation about them if you guys are interested, but she probably just felt an overwhelming sensation of spirits and stuff around, and yeah, sometimes it can feel scary. You get overwhelmed and it can, I'm an empath. I can't be in a crowd. And imagine you're in a real crowd and there's all of these spirits as well. Like imagine like the overwhelming sensations you can get. And everyone's a little bit psychic and a little empathetic to a point. So maybe that's just what she felt there. I can't see anything other remotely to that.
I just started seeing things through God's eyes. Since that day, I never celebrated Halloween again. I informed myself. Like it tells us in Ephesians 5:17, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Being foolish is like feeling it in your spirit, feeling that conviction, but still like brushing it off just because you want to enjoy it. Like we shouldn't just want to do things for our flesh because it's fun, because we enjoy it. We need to understand.
Okay, another thing she was not clear on is what went on at the party. If they were doing alcohol and drugs and things, maybe that is what was making you feel unsafe. Maybe there was some guys like hoarding the girls and things like that. That sexual energy that could also make you feel uncomfortable. It probably doesn't have anything to do with the holiday itself, because I feel that way at almost every party I go to. So yeah, nothing to do with religion.
If that's like God's will for us. So I started looking in the Word, and I also started learning from other people that were once in this occult that took part in the rituals and sacrifices that happened within Halloween and the season. This former Satanist named John Ramirez opens up a lot, and he's very bold about the things that went on behind closed doors during this entire month, during this entire holiday. In general, they do this, but especially this time because that's the time where once again they're preparing for the year. And he talked.
It's not about preparing for the year, it's just the veil is the thinnest. And yeah, you talk to one Satanist. You should be talking to a lot of people. You should be talking to witches, people of different religions, and, cross referencing your information a bit more. But yeah, I had my own experiences and run ins with Satanists and things before. So, yeah, I can attest, like, the veil is thinnest on Halloween. They do occasionally do some weird rituals and things. Not all of them do. The New Age pagans and the New Age Satanists and the New Age Wicca, the New Age witches and everything like that, they're a little bit more different. There are still sticklers for the traditional that still performs the heavy rituals like demon summoning and things like that. So, that can happen, but also, if you're a Christian and this does affect you a little bit, if Halloween bothers you that much, then why don't you protect yourself? Protect yourself with the Christ light, the white light. Like envision a white Christ light around you. Do your prayer, say to God, like, hey, protect me, whatever you want to say in your prayer, and then you just protect your energy so that the influences or the outside influences cannot influence you. Of course, you're gonna have to take the shield down at the end of the day. You're gonna want to do this regularly, okay? If you are a Christian, I'm a witch and I do this thing. Mine's of course less religious, but yeah, I also do the shielding thing. So yeah, I'm very big on cleansing and protecting, because I had a run in with demons and things before, like I said, and also satanic people. So I do take cleansing and protecting my energy and my soul that very, very seriously, and it's very important to me.
Talked about it, and it just like really made me realize, why would I, even if I dress up as an angel, even if I dress up as a ladybug, why do I want to take place on a night where I know this is going to be extreme, but I know there are babies being killed and sacrificed to Satan? And this.
Again with the baby killing. What the hell is it with the baby killing? If there was so many baby killings on Halloween, wouldn't it be in the media and the news? I mean, social media is all the rage right now. Like, if there was a ton of babies being murdered on Halloween, don't you think we'd know about it? If a baby goes missing, okay, that's gonna be all the hype. I mean, isn't a mother gonna be really freaked out when her baby goes missing all of a sudden? You just like no, like doesn't add up, does it? Besides, it's probably easier to get blood if you really want to do blood rituals. I mean, you can literally like go to blood banks if you have money, and there's things you can do to get blood. You can go to a butchery and get a ton of blood there. You don't need to kill anything or anyone to get blood anymore. If you want real blood, you can. If you're an SFX artist or if you want blood for a costume, use fake blood. You can go check out my phone channel there. I have tips on making fake blood. Use fake blood there. It's very easy to get that too. But if you want to use real blood for rituals and things, I mean, it's really easier to get it nowadays in the modern world. You can go to butchery, like I said. Butchery is literally the best place and probably the cheapest you'll get the blood. So there's just alternatives. Why would people need to murder babies? It just doesn't add up, does it?
This is nothing new. Sadly, this is nothing new. This is things that in the Bible is told us back in the day that has happened and it still continues to happen. So why would I want to be.
Will you please list the passages where you found that information on the screen or in the bio so that I can read that as well, please? Because you don't reference your information. I want reference links, okay? Just research links and stuff. I mean, I know you can easily Google it, but like, your information just doesn't add up for me.
Out and about partying and trick-or-treating and taking my nieces out to trick-or-treat when I know that there's literally babies being sacrificed, there's people being killed, there's people that are worshiping Satan in a whole different level right now.
Why do you care what other people do so much? Like, if they want to worship the devil, go worship the freaking devil. Like, just leave me out of it. As long as they leave me out of it, I'm happy. Like, I'm not that involved in other people's business. I really don't give two F's what other people do. Um, Unless, of course, there is harm involved where you harm another person or another being or an animal, then I get a little upset. Then it bothers me. Then I'll get involved in people's personal business. But, like, there's no, she doesn't have any proof or references here, and I'm not denying child sacrifice or baby sacrifice or any kind of sacrifice. I'm not denying that people do that. There are some sick and perverted people in the world, but it's not a common thing, honey.
Why would I be okay with just ignoring that and turning a blind eye to all of the reality that is going on, which is that, and just going out and celebrating it? So I encourage you guys to really see God's heart in this. And, once again, we're not perfect. I know a lot of us tend to be just like driven by the world, but once again, we are not meant to be like the world. We're not to celebrate things of the world. We're not meant to be yoked and.
Okay, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but we are here to experience nonetheless. We are here to partake in experiences, to make decisions for ourselves. Just give me a second. I want to read you guys a little passage that I found from a book, Conversations with God. This is a phenomenal read. This little passage that I want to read to you guys, I found in book 2. It just stood out so much to me, so I screenshotted it. And I think I did read it maybe in one of my previous videos. I don't know, but I'm going to read it again. Religion would have you take its word for it. That is why all religions ultimately fail. Spirituality, on the other hand, will always succeed. Religion asks you to learn from the experiences of others. Spirituality urges you to seek your own. Religion cannot stand spirituality. It cannot abide it. For spirituality may bring you to a different conclusion than a particular religion, and this no known religion can tolerate. Religion encourages you to explore the thoughts of others and accept them as your own. Spirituality invites you to toss away those thoughts of others and come up with your own. So that is the passage, and I just thought it was really fitting. I just wanted to add it in here so you can just take what resonates.
Look like the world. My niece that is 10 years old, I am so proud of her because most kids would be confused, and she was a little bit confused when we first brought up the whole idea of should she celebrate Halloween or not. But we just talked it out with her and we led by example. We didn't take anybody else trick-or-treating. We didn't do all of that. We basically told her since she was like really, really young, like this is not something that we take part in as Christians.
Okay, so you basically brainwashed the child and took away her freedom of choice. You basically shoved your religion down her throat. This is why I really hate the whole being born into religion crap. Because I have a lot of people in my family who actually forsaked their religions because we were all forced into it as children. And as a child, you're purest form because you're fresh out of the veil. You still see things from a spiritual perspective. So you have better judgment when you are a baby and a child, and also when you are a very old person near death. You're also able to see things and experience things from a more spiritual perspective. So I'd say every time you're near death, and birth is basically just death and rebirth. Death is birth and reverse. So if you're near death or birth, you experience things on a more spiritual level and you have more clarity of what's really going on. So I don't think taking middle-aged grown-ups advice is the best thing, but as a child, I mean, you're born into this for, I mean, ultimately you made the choice as a spiritual being, but still, I just don't like it when you shove it down their throats. I mean, just tell them a little bit about shit that's going on in the world and have them make their own choices. Just telling them one side of the story is a little bit brainwashing.
Christians. And now that she's 10 years old, she's okay with that. She understands it. It's like, it's no big deal to her. And they were having a Halloween parade today in her school, and she asked like, hey, like, instead of me just being sitting out the whole entire day basically from class, do you mind if I just stay back and just like hang out with you guys? It was no problem. I just took care of her. We went out to Walmart. I got some like really cool acrylic paint because I'm gonna like paint a little bit later.
Because now you're denying her social experiences at school, leisure activities at school. Oh boy.
And we just like hung out. I went out to get coffee. I got her a little bit of cake, and she's been watching TV, just hanging out. And the day flew by just like that. There's no need to be like feeling left out or anything. If a 10-year-old girl can do it and understands the Lord's heart in this matter, and she just doesn't care to yoke herself with it.
You're gonna make her lonely. I mean, what about her friends and things? I mean, I don't say she has to fit in. I mean, I hate when there's like peer pressure and you want your kids to fit in. But I mean, if she just wanted to spend the day with like friends and things, because every holiday for me is an opportunity to spend it with friends and family and the people you care about and the people you love. So, yeah.
Then that's absolutely fine. If you are a parent and you feel like, what if my child gets upset, like da da da, you have to do what's best for your child. At the end of the day, either you're gonna influence.
Also, remember one thing, your child is a person, okay? It's a human being. And if you're gonna be parenting too harshly, that kid, it's gonna show in their adulthood. Whatever you do to your children in their childhood sticks with them into their adult years. So be very cautious what you do teach your kids and what you do expose them to. But also, if they're curious about things, do not deny them the knowledge. Do not deny them things because they ultimately actually do know better than you because they're still spiritual beings. We as grown-ups, we tend to get a little bit too distracted by the 3D, the earthly experience, but ultimately, we are spiritual beings, and I don't think a child's voice should be silenced and be brainwashed. Kids are very pure, and they look up to the people around them, their parents, their teachers, and they take your advice because you're supposed to guide them on the right paths and they're supposed to be able to trust you. But forcefully shoving things down their throat is not the way to go about it. I mean, you can tell them about Christianity and things, but ultimately you're going to have to tell them there's other religions out there. And I also believe sexual education is very important too. You're going to have to educate your kids. There are other sexual orientations out there, not just females and males. Lately, there's all sorts of sexual orientations. And if you don't open up to your children about this, I mean, do pick a right age to do this at. I'd say you know, around 10-ish is 10, 11 would be good because that's around when puberty hits and things like that. So be honest with them about the sexual orientations. Be honest with them about the different religions out there. The more honest and open you are with your child, the better relationship you are going to have with your child, the less childhood trauma your child's probably going to have in their adult years, and it's just overall going to be better for everyone. I just think people should start being more open with their children instead of just trying to brush everything off and just shove things that individually the parents think is the right thing down their children's throat. I mean, what's right for you is maybe not right for someone else. We're all different, we're all unique, and we all deserve to have a free choice in life. I mean, technically, according to Christian religion, God gave us free will. I don't know the new generations, but when I was a kid, what your parents said had to go, okay? It was like the law, okay? So you couldn't talk back. You literally had very little free will as a child to be able to make your own choices. And it wasn't all bad, and it's not all as bad as that, but sometimes with certain things, it can become a problem.
Him to the Lord, or the enemy's going to influence him. So you really do have to just pick. It's either or. There's no in between. There's no middle ground. Either the enemy's going to influence your child, or you're going to influence a child to go to Christ and understand the ways of the Lord.
Okay, I still say teach your child about, what you say is the opposition. Give them all the facts, tell them everything, let them do their own research, and ultimately they will decide where they want to be at. It's not your decision, and it's not your responsibility to take care of everyone else. It's not your responsibility to govern someone else's soul to decide where they're going to be when they die. It's not your responsibility to dictate where other people go when they die.
You are responsible for your children at the end of the day. You're the parent, so it's okay to tell them no. It's okay to explain to them, and even if they don't understand, just say, hey, I'm your parent, I know what's best for you. And you'll learn as you grow up, and also teach them, show them, because they don't know any better at this point. I hope that this helped you guys.
Like I said, to actually do know a little better, do please take what your children says seriously. Do not disregard their thoughts and their feelings or their curiosities. Indulge them, okay? Just indulge their curiosity and see where things go. Maybe just put a stop to it when they talk about killing people, killing animals, maybe then book them into a mental asylum. But, if they don't harm anyone, then what is ultimately the harm? If they don't harm themselves, if they don't harm others, or cause harm to any other living being, what is the harm?
Guys, in any way, I know this video might have been like everywhere. Usually, like, I take a lot of time in my faith related videos, but this was last night where I felt the Lord just telling me, make a video tomorrow, pray about it, and these are the notes that he had me take. This is the scripture that he made me want to share with you guys, so I hope that this helped you. But yeah, I just hope this video gets up today, hopefully on Halloween. If not stressing about it. If you want me to touch on any other topic, comment it down below. If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll love to see you guys in my next video. All right, see you guys.
So I just want to throw out a couple of last thoughts here. What gives Christians the right to judge people just because some people sin differently than they do, as they were to speak? I want to make a lot of religious videos about a lot of misconceptions about religion, some facts that I found, some things that were actually taken out of the original Bible, and we're just gonna like vibe with all of that. So if that interests you, maybe stick around. I also want to talk a little bit more about Satanism and Wicca, paganism, all of those topics again. I did talk about it a little bit on my channel before, but if that interests you, then please stick around. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video. Please have a blessed and happy Halloween, guys. Bye.